Are you looking for a safe and exclusive neighborhood in the Aledo area? Well, today I'm going to be covering the 3 Bella communities, which include Bella Flora, which is the only Aledo area neighborhood that is not only gated, but has 24/7 manned security at that gate. Let's check it out. Now, if this is your first time on the channel and you want to know everything there is to know about living in the Aledo area, make sure you hit that subscribe button and tap the bell for notifications to make sure you're the first to know about what's going on in the Aledo market. My name's Jared with Living in Aledo, Texas, and I get calls and texts all the time from people just like yourself who are thinking about moving to the Aledo area, and I love it. So whether you're thinking about moving next week or next year, all my contact information is in the description box below. Feel free to reach out however is most convenient. I'm looking forward to helping you make that smooth move to Aledo. Okay, now before we jump into the Google map, I do want to give you a little bit of backstory to help explain why this neighborhood developed like it did and why there are still available lots, even though development originally started in like 2007. So development started, the developers got involved, they got the land, they started developing in 2007, right before the 2008 crash. And what happened was that normally developers would sell their lots in bulk to multiple different builders. The builders would be financing that through the bank. Well, banks' financing got really strict and really dried up for these builders. And so it was a lot harder for these builders to buy lots in bulk from developers. So the developers of the Bella communities, they had to pivot when they couldn't sell everything off to builders. So they did something that's maybe a little more common now in higher end communities, but they was a little concerning back then, was they pivoted and started offering lots directly to consumers to allow them to bring whatever builder they wanted. Because then it was the homeowner would be getting the financing and paying the builder directly, and the builder wouldn't have to get their own financing to build. So they made this pivot and it actually worked out really well for them. They started out by offering like 80 homes in the Bella Flora section, which is the high-end section with the guarded gate access. And within like a year, they sold like 56 of the original 80 lots that they had ready to go. So it was a wild success. And then they kind of grew and expanded and continued to do that. And honestly, a couple of the lots that have sold in some of these additions, even in the last year, are still owned by the developer, or they were sold from the developer to the new owner. So they've just kind of done this the whole time. And again, some builders do buy lots and build specs, but that's kind of how everything happened in this neighborhood, and that's why you see lots still available. One of the downsides of the neighborhood is that construction has basically been continuous for the last like 15 years. Not in all sections, but in the newer section that's called Bella Crossing, there's still lots available, which we'll talk about again in the video, and I'll kind of show you and tell you about what's what. But that's kind of what happened. And so let's dive into the Google Maps and really go into detail on the 3 different sections of the neighborhood. All right, well, let's hop straight into Google Maps so I can start showing you around the neighborhood. And I want to start off first by just showing you where this is. So we are at the corner of 377 and 1187. Here's the neighborhood right there. And one important thing to note that I want to point out first is that you are not inside city limits. So all of these lots are on well and septic, and you're not paying city taxes. Now, eventually this area could be annexed, but with recent law changes, I think it's doubtful that that will happen, but currently you will get that tax savings. And then something else important to note that I'm going to be covering in detail, and let me zoom in right here, is that there are 2 different tax rates that are related to which school district you might find yourself in. Now, we are including this on the channel because the majority of the neighborhood is in Aledo ISD, but not all of it. So here you see the approximate Aledo ISD attendance zone map, and I have no idea why it's shaped like a jigsaw puzzle, but it is. So if you're over here on the Fort Worth side and you are not in the Aledo attendance zone, your tax rate's going to be about 1.94%. So just under 2% effective tax rate. And then over here on the Aledo side, the Aledo ISD tax rate is a little higher than Fort Worth. So your tax rate is closer to 2.03%. So slightly higher taxes. You do get Aledo ISD. That's one of the important things to note about this neighborhood though. So you've got some really nice homes on some big lots, but if the schools are important to you, you need to know that. Now, let's talk about schools. Since we're on that topic already, I'm gonna zoom out so I can kind of show you where some of these, okay, we're gonna get rid of this. All right, great. Schools and distances. So this is the fastest way to get to Fort Worth. So you're about 25 minutes plus or minus to downtown Fort Worth. And over here, as it relates to schools, you're gonna be about 15 to 20 minutes from Aledo High School. And if you are not in the Aledo attendance zone, a lot of people think of this neighborhood more as Benbrook than Aledo, but it is in mostly the Aledo attendance zone. But if you're not, or if you are, a lot of people in this area are gonna send their kids to private school as well. So you've got Fort Worth Country Day right here, and that's gonna be about a 20-minute drive from the Bella neighborhoods. And then over, let's see, right around, is it over here? I might be slightly off on that exact spot. It's here or here. That's gonna be Trinity Valley School. So you're only gonna be about 15 minutes from there. So you do have some good school options. Again, Trinity Valley, you could take this Lakeview Road here. And then if you're at Fort Worth Country Day, you just take the highway up Bryant Urban. So that's where you're gonna be on schools. There are two important amenities to note while we're at it, but you are gonna have golf courses. So you've got 2 golf courses nearby, or 1 nearby and 1 coming. So you've got Whitestone Golf Club right here, which is really only about 3 minutes away from the entrance right over here. And then you've got Blue Jack Ranch coming in the next couple of years. That's gonna be about a 5-mile drive, so maybe 5 minutes. So again, I mean, just straight up and down 377 to get to 2 nice golf courses. Let me give you a very quick overview of the different sections of the neighborhood, and we'll jump into the specifics. So you have 3 sections. The newest section is gonna be right here. This is the newest section. You'll find the newest homes, and this is Bella Crossing. And then over here, and this is not exactly right, there's gonna be some overlap, that's Bella Ranch. That is a gated neighborhood. The gates are often not closed though. And then over here, you have Bella Flora, and that is the 24/7 guarded gate access. Like there is a person at the gate all the time. I'm gonna show you the exact like entrances and boundaries in a minute, but I wanted to give you just kind of where they were as a whole. So let's hop into Bella Crossing first. And I'm gonna zoom in on here specifically. So you've got 2 entrances, one here, Bella Creek, and the other here, Bella Italia. And both of these enter the Bella Crossing area. And the boundaries are gonna be about right here and right here. So everything here is what would be called a Bella Crossing. This does fall into 2 separate attendance zones. So I'm not gonna pull that up again, but it's something like this. So not everything falls into the Aledo area. That's important to note. And then their HOA cost is $700 a year. When it comes to the age of construction, they did start building homes in this section around 2012, but between 2012 and 2019, they only built like 14 homes. So not a whole lot of like older homes, I say older homes. And since 2021, 118 homes have been built. So the vast majority of the construction in this portion of the neighborhood was done in the last 3 years. Now there is about 250 total home sites, but only 2 available homes. And one's priced at like $850 and the other one is priced at $2.2 million on what's currently available. And when it comes to average pricing, you're looking at around a 3,550 square foot home at about $1 million in the Bella Crossing area. And that's with like an average build date around 2022. So between 2021 and 2023 is really when most of them were built. So really very new. And so you get kind of a premium on the pricing over there. Now in the last 3 years, when most of these homes have been built, about 7 sell per year on the MLS. That means a ton of homes either sold off MLS, like through a builder, or people had bought their lots previously and they all built their homes in the last few years. So again, 118 homes that have a build date between 21 and today, but only like 20 21 or 24 or something like that have actually sold on the MLS in the last 3 years. So kind of interesting numbers right there. So are there any available lots? There, I've done some videos on available lots, and as you can see from Google Maps, there are still lots of available lots. There's not currently any available right now. So there's one pending lot for sale. 21 lots have sold in the last year, and there are currently many undeveloped lots. The developer may still own some, or most of them may be owned by individuals. And this is actually a neighborhood where I had a client that was able to buy 2 lots side by side. So, somewhere over here, 2 lots side by side, and was actually able to replat it so that he could have a very large lot. So it's 2 lots side by side, replatted it to a single lot, and is building a home. I mean, it's huge, it's beautiful. I actually have some shots of where he's designed the layout of the slab. So you can do stuff like that over here, right? Now there's not a whole lot of lots next door to each other that are owned by the same person that you could buy, but it is possible. But these lots are not cheap. He paid about $179 per lot so that he could build. So these are gonna be nice homes. As you'll see, there are some really nice properties, right? So that about does it for Bella Crossing. So let's hop over and look at Bella Ranch. So the entrances to Bella Ranch, there is a gate right here, and there is a gate right here. And these are the only 2 ways into Bella Ranch. So you'd come in off 377, you'd come in from one of the 2 entrances, you'd have to drive through Bella Crossing a little bit, either up Bella Creek Parkway to this back gate, or at Bella Italia right here to this front gate. Now, one thing I want to note is that it looks like there are roads that connect Bella Ranch and Bella Flora. They do not. These roads are permanently gated. So you've got, I'm going to give you this rough outline of Bella Ranch. So that's about Bella Ranch right there. There's currently there is a total of about 330 home sites. And they really started construction, the earliest homes that were completed were about 2010. And they have been building them, the majority of them early up front, 2010, 2014, 15, 16. There was one home that was built as late as 2023. And the HOA in this neighborhood is about $500 a year. Now again, like I mentioned earlier, not everything falls in the Aledo ISD attendance zone. I think it's something like these homes right here are in Fort Worth. So it is important to note, again, if the schools are important, which home you're buying, on which street, and which school it falls into. Now let's talk about some of the currently available homes for sale. Now there's only 2 currently available homes for sale, and one is priced at 1.3 million and the other is at 3.5 million. Now that 3.5 million looks amazing. I would love to do a video on it at some point. It is occupied, and those people sometimes don't like when people do videos, but if I can, I will. I mean, just the drive itself with a fountain is awesome. I mean, literally, I think they use their detached garage as an event center or something like that. So I have to check that out at some point. I think that might be over here. I think it might be this house right here. But let's talk about the average prices. So that 3.5 is well above average. The averages for this neighborhood in the last year is about an $800,000 sales price, plus or minus, for a home a little under 3,500 square feet. You're like, well, Jared, this is a gated neighborhood, and you're telling me the average sales price in the last year is a little bit less than the average sales price of the non-gated neighborhood? And the answer is yes. Why is that? That's because these homes are older. You're not getting the new construction premium on these homes. And sometimes just the last year isn't really the full story of all the homes that are available. So the average construction year on these homes is gonna be about 2014. So you are gonna pay a premium in the newer section on homes that are only 1 or 2 years old. Or maybe, honestly, a lot of those homes in Bella Crossing were bought as brand new homes, potentially. So it's something to think about when it comes to pricing. But there's more available homes over in the Bella Ranch area, and about 12 homes on average sell per year in the last 3 years. So a decent number of homes do become available. Again, there's only 2 currently available, but there's no lots currently available for sale. In the last year, a single lot sold, and there may be a few undeveloped lots. If I look at Google Maps, which is typically updated fairly well, There might be a couple, but there's not a lot. So I would not expect to find undeveloped lots available for sale in the Bella Ranch section of the Bella neighborhoods. Okay, well, let's hop over to Bella Flora. So legally, the legal addition of everything is called Bella Flora. But when you look at sign entrances and what people call each of these neighborhoods, Bella Flora is the kind of the premier section. And I'm gonna show you exactly what that means. So here, let's zoom out a little bit. I wanna show you the entrance. So you actually have a totally separate entrance that comes off 1187. So you go 377 right here, down to 1187, and then the entrance for the neighborhood is right here. So you'd enter off 1187. It is guarded 24 hours a day with an actual person, and there's a gate. And then you'd come in this direction. And again, most of it is in Aledo ISD, except I think most of these homes are Fort Worth ISD. The HOA cost is significantly higher than the other neighborhoods, coming in at just under $2,700 for the most part. And then this was the first section where they started selling stuff. So the earliest completed homes show to be about 2008, and there was one home that was completed in 2023, with most of these homes being done in the early teens. But there has been some new construction over the last few years. We'll talk about lots in a minute. So currently, this neighborhood actually does have a fair amount of homes currently available. Currently, there's 8 homes available for sale, priced between $800,000 and $1.5 million. And then the average price range to expect is actually slightly larger based on this last year's sales. Now, a number of smaller homes did sell, which I think might kind of be pulling down the average of what to actually expect in Bella Flora. But if you look at the actual sold info for the last year, you have about a 4,200 square foot house that sold for about $1 million. But there is a $2.7 million home that was 6,400 square feet. There are some really high-end homes, and then there are some homes that are similar to the Bella Ranch homes, but this is in a guarded, gated access community, so there is a premier safety that goes with this, and there's a premium you're gonna pay for that. Now, on average, there's about 11 home sales per year, which is kind of interesting. Pretty close to what happens in Bella Ranch, but there's only 200 homes in this section over here. The entrance is here, and it looks like there's roads here, but those are not functional roads. So you are totally sectioned off. This is the only way in or out. And now, why would there be so many, proportionally, why would there be so much turnover in this high-end neighborhood? Well, my theory is that a lot of executives live in this neighborhood. They want the security, they have kids, they're going to private school anyways. So they want to be somewhere safe and secure. And these upper end executives oftentimes get relocated by their job, or they take new positions or something like that. So I think that there's a lot of relocation that happens into and out of this neighborhood based on the type of people who typically live there. That's why, 11 homes out of 200 are sold every year in this neighborhood. Now, are there any available lots? No available lots, but 3 did sell in the last year, and they look like they're currently being built on. I was looking at Google Maps, I was looking at tax records, and I was looking at the MLS kind of to compare everything. And best I can tell, there might be one undeveloped lot or a lot that didn't change hands recently that might be available to build on, but it is privately owned. So this person is probably holding on to it to build themselves at some point in the near future. So I would not hold your breath for a lot in this neighborhood. You are probably going to be looking at, pre-built homes. Most of them are going to be built in the early teens, plus or minus, but you do get some nice high-end homes. I do have a couple of clients in this neighborhood as well. Okay, well, thanks for hopping into the Google Maps with me. Like in previous videos, I am going to include a link that you can view all the available homes in the Bella Flora edition with no sign-in and no registration required. So check that out in the description below. And remember, whether you're thinking about moving next week or next year, all my contact information is in the description. Feel free to reach out however is most convenient. I'm looking forward to helping you make a smooth move to the Aledo area.